Good morning, sports fans. It's Wes Pruitt, 4-Star Sports Media, and you are sitting down at the sports buffet, of course, to get full of sports, right? Well, today, Monday, we've got a jam-packed show for you. We're going to start out with a little WWE talk because we've got a little bad blood coming up in World Wrestling Entertainment. Then we'll jump over to some college football talk as we'll get into some hot topics. I got some things to say about a team down in Tallahassee, and we'll get into some games. Looking into next week, also talk about a certain coach also down in Florida that's on a hot seat, and I'll look at, how does this team even get out of this? And then we'll close out with some NFL talk, all that and more today on the Sports Buffet, presented to you by 4-Star Sports Media.
The following is a production of 4-Star Sports Media.
Are you hungry? It's time to sit down and get full of sports on the Sports Buffet presented by 4-Star Sports Media with your host, Wes Pruitt.
Hello, everybody. Monday morning. Good morning. It's time to talk some sports right here on the Sports Buffet, presented to you by 4-Star Sports Media. I am Wes Pruitt. Good morning. Hope everyone is doing well to start your work week. It's about 10 minutes to 9 a.m. Central Time here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We are 4-Star Sports Media. We do this roughly 3 times a week right here on the Sports Buffet, as well as we bring you articles and more. We are a multi-media journalism brand. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's start out with a burning question of the show. And it's a simple one, and we'll get into it later. But how does Billy Napier survive at Florida? It's the burning question of the show. Thank you to everybody watching and listening over at the 4-Star Sports Media Facebook, YouTube, and X page. If you like what you're watching, if you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're hearing, please follow, like, subscribe, and also comment. We love engagement with our fans. We love talking sports. That's why we are here doing what we do. Also, the photo you see in this graphic on screen, got to give a shout out to 4-Star Sports Madison Pinke, our photographer here at 4-Star Sports Media. She does an incredible job, her as well as Kayla Hoyle. Both do an incredible job on the field, taking beautiful photos such as the one you see there, and others. If you go to our website now, if the little background photo that you're on this show right here, if you're looking at YouTube or Facebook, that photo was taken from Madison Mario Anderson Jr. Just real close. We'll talk about that here in more in a second. But like I said, Billy Napier, how does he survive at Florida? I don't really see how he does, to be honest with you. But that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about it at the end of the show. So let's start with a little bit of college football national talk. And I want to start with what happened in Tallahassee. I know if you listened to the show last night, John, Blake, and I did talk about what happened in Tallahassee, but I want to look a little bit deeper into it. I think when you look at what's going on in Tallahassee right now, and you can head over to 4-Star I'm sorry. We'll start with WWE. My bad, folks. Start with WWE. It's a little bit of bad blood going on in WWE right now. And because of that, we're going to get into some storylines that we're enjoying right now in WWE, as there is aplenty. And let's start with what is now being rumored to be a match between Sami Zayn and Gunther. As we know, Sami Zayn has been chasing Gunther and chasing this title for quite some time. It's now rumored that the Bad Blood match, or the Bad Blood card, is now going to be a 6-match card versus a 5-match card, which, of course, this takes place October 5th in Atlanta, Georgia. It'll be broadcasted on the Peacock Network. Sami Zayn, like I said, been chasing down Gunther. And this is one of the storylines that I really want to talk about because I really enjoyed this storyline. Let's not forget Bad Blood was the first pay-per-view. And yes, I still call them pay-per-views, not premium live events. But Bad Blood was the first WWE F at the time pay-per-view where we saw the Hell in the Cell match type featured. So, in continuing in the Bad Blood tradition, they are bringing back the Hell in the Cell matches for this card. I'm looking forward to this pay-per-view. I think it's going to be really good. I love the nostalgic bring back the old pay-per-views. I thoroughly enjoy it. I would also like to see them incorporate in some way, shape, or fashion an older style set with maybe some blood dripping, something like that. I understand it's 2024, but whatever. You're WWE. You're getting ready to go to Netflix. Let's start maybe pushing the envelope maybe a little bit more, especially with these pay-per-views. So, but yeah, Sami Zayn, man, big time chase. I love watching a face chase. Face chases a title. That's where he gets the most love. But they're pulling out all the stops on this one. Pulling out all the stops. Sami Zayn has been chasing it so much. So many people want him to win it, including the great Bret Hart, as we would see Bret Hart come out last week. And Gunther would come out and prove to be the incredible heel that he is. He would make the statement to Bret Hart, Bill Goldberg is my favorite wrestler. Anybody that knows anything about Bret Hart knows his complete disdain for a man named Bill Goldberg. Matter of fact, there was one promo he cut in WCW where he did not call him Goldberg at all. The entire promo, he called him Bill Goldberg. So a lot of fun there. A lot of fun there. WWE is cranking up. Let's look at some confirmed matches that we know of as of right now. Of course, we're going to have CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. That card, that match, that storyline has been long, and intertwined and kind of weird in a way. But that's going to be a lot of fun there. And then we get to the Women's World Championship between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. This will be a heck of a match. By the way, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk is going to be inside Hell in a Cell. But Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, which adds even more to that storyline. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, this is going to be incredible to watch. These two just absolutely can't stand each other, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And kind of along the same lines there, you've got Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. Of course, we know what Finn Balor did to Damian Priest to cost him the title most recently. Now we get these two. I would not be shocked if this match didn't end up being a false count anywhere, some type of storyline. I would also not be shocked if you see possibly the Demon Finn Balor come back for this as well. But let's also not forget, you can bring this storyline full circle because Liv Morgan first got out of the vehicle with Finn Balor before there was ever a Dominic Mysterio in this storyline. The first vehicle she got out of was with Finn Balor. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. But no, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Bad Blood 2024 takes place on October 5th, right there in Atlanta, Georgia, from State Farm Arena, where we're going to see Cody Rhodes. We're going to see Cody Rhodes in a heck of a match. I don't think we see Cody Rhodes lose the match, but I do think we see Cody Rhodes for sure in the match on October 5th. But let's go ahead and jump over to a little college football talk. Um, a lot of things happened over the weekend. I feel like, excuse me, I feel like this past weekend was really the first road test for a lot of programs. Well, I mean, I know it's the first road test for a lot of programs. So you look around the country and you look at road teams. You look at road teams that went in and made an impactful win, right? Alabama went to Wisconsin, won 42-10. Central Florida came back to beat TCU on the road 35-34. Hell of a football game. UNLV walked into Kansas, knocked off Kansas 23-20. Maryland walked in, knocked off Virginia 27-13. And then Memphis, as we know, walked into Tallahassee and knocked off Mike Norvell and the gang 20-12. There's an article out at 4star.live now. Head over there now for all of our content, podcast, articles, and more. There's an article out now over there, 3 things we learned from the Memphis win over Florida State. One of those things is this. That game was domination by Memphis. You look at it from a defensive perspective. Jordan Hankins rolled the dice essentially the entire game, but he was getting pressure. Memphis was getting pressure just with their defensive linemen, not really bringing elaborate blitz packages. They were getting pressure just up front. You look at the trenches of that game. Memphis pretty well dominated Florida State on both sides. I'll say that again. Memphis pretty well dominated Florida State on both sides in the trenches. That's something that hadn't been said for a Memphis football team against a Power 5 program. I mean, folks, we're going back 20 years here. Seriously, we're going back 20 years here. When you look at the defensive performance from Memphis in Tallahassee, and we're talking about what happened in Tallahassee. But when you look at the defensive performance, they held Florida State to a season low 283 total yards on the game. I talked in the article about how Mike Norvell, for the first time in his 9-year head coaching career, his back is completely against the wall now. He's got a Cal team coming in that can very, very well have the Seminoles at 0-4 to start 2024. We've talked about it before. We've talked about Mike Norvell's timid play calling so far in 2024. You go back to the Georgia Tech game in Dublin. Then you go to the Boston College game. He tried to open it up a little bit. But then Saturday, I mean, Florida State win 50, and credit Jordan Silversmith from Tomahawk Nation for this stat. He did the research on this. I do want to give him full credit for this because it's incredible work. Florida State ran 55 total plays. Memphis had tackle for loss in 12 of those plays. There was also 15 incompletions from DJ Uyunglele. Mike Norvell's back is against the wall. I said it in the article. He's got a deer in the headlights look for the first time I've ever seen since he's been a head coach. Yes, I understand he was 0-3 once before. But the only other person to go 0-3 in Florida State history was Bobby Bowden in his first season in 1976. Yes, there's another coach in Florida that seats a hell of a lot hotter, and we're going to talk about that shortly. I get that. But when you're Florida State and you're Mike Norvell, you've got to get this fixed and get this fixed quickly. And this isn't I feel like this is a culture inside the program right now issue. Wide receivers are dropping balls. Credit the Memphis defense. They came with pressure for the entire night. Point blank, second play of the game, and Darius Coffey absolutely shellacked the Florida State running back coughs up the ball. Chandler Martin picks it up. Memphis scores 13 points off turnovers in that game. Florida State only scores 3. Florida State only had the ball roughly 3.5, 4 minutes in the third quarter because their offense can't stay on the field. This is something that no Mike Norvell team has looked like this, folks. None. This is not an overreaction either. This is something that we've been talking about for 3 weeks now. Now, yes, you get Alex Aikens back. He's the quote-unquote offensive coordinator in Tallahassee. I think that helps. We talked to Jeff Colhane last week, voice of Florida State. We talked to Jordan Silversmith. They both agreed that will help. But what's happening on the field does not matter who the coach is. It does not matter. And it's obvious that Norvell, in some way, shape, or fashion, is handcuffed to DJU. It's obvious. He is handcuffed to him. I understand you're only 3 games in. Mike Norvell is trying to figure out how the hell to get this right. And I'll be honest with you, folks, after listening to his press conference Saturday, I don't think he knows. This is not bash Florida State. This is not a quote-unquote Memphis guy going after Florida State. This is not. This is something that we've been talking about for 3 weeks. We also talk Florida State. Go to the website. There's articles out on this. 3 weeks we've been talking about this. The play calling has been timid. You're not going to win football games throwing 85 wide receiver screens. You're not going to. Louis Riddick talked about it during the game. You go back and watch the ESPN version. Louis Riddick talked about it. DJ Uiagalelei has an incredible arm strength. We saw it in Corvallis at Oregon State. We watched him take deep shots down the field. Where is that now? Because you need it. You need it. I don't know if they get this fixed. I think Cal comes in there and beats them. And people thought the 50,000 crowd was not great. Wait till Saturday. I don't know if Norvell gets this fixed. I don't know if he does. I also think that the Memphis road win in Tallahassee was the biggest road win in all of college football in week 2. Dominating win by the Tigers. Dominating win by Memphis. And if you're Florida State and you're Mike Norvell, if there's not a quarterback change pretty daggum soon, I'm asking questions then. I mean, we've been asking questions for 3 weeks. We asked questions after the first week of the game. There's not too many programs that would just sit on this same quarterback for 3 straight weeks when he's looked like he has. Brock Glenn's a perfectly fine college quarterback. We saw that last year. Let's not forget Brock Glenn won the ACC championship for Florida State. Yes, Florida State did not get into the playoff. I understand that. But if Brock Glenn does not win that ACC championship game against a top 20, top 15 ranked Louisville defense in 2023, then there is no conversation. There is no more anything about the college football playoff last year for Florida State. Let's not forget that. I don't know how you fix it. I don't. I don't. But guess what? Neither does Mike Norvell, as I said earlier. All right, let's jump over to hot seat alert real quick. And I got to talk about Billy Napier. It was the burning question of the show is how does Billy Napier survive at Florida? And I don't see how he does. I don't see how he survives past through this week. He's 12-16 currently at Florida, 6-11 in SEC play, and they have had 7 straight FBS losses. 4 of those have come inside the swamp. He's got a $26 million buyout. I don't see how he survives. Florida was absolutely dismantled by Texas A&M. The final score was not indicative of how that game was played. But I don't know what's in the water in Florida right now, but who would have thought? Now, I mean, we talked about Miami. We talked about Central Florida a little bit, but who really would have thought that currently Florida and Florida State would only have one combined win between the two teams? That wasn't on the bingo card for 2024, I can assure you. I can assure you that was not on the bingo card. What's in the water? Billy Napier, I don't see how he survives. But you know what? I think he should. I think Billy Napier should have to stick around the entire football season because I want to see him and Norvell at the end of the year. That's not a shot, folks. I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm just saying. I want to see it. Because I've never seen these two programs like this. Ever. Yes, Seminole fans. I'm even referring to the Willie Taggart days. Never have I seen these teams like this. Folks, Napier's worse than Zook. Napier's probably the worst coach I've seen at Florida in my lifetime. I'm a man. I'm almost 40. That's not a hot take, people. I'm telling you, in my lifetime, Billy Napier is the worst coach I've seen at Florida. I've never seen a Florida football team perform like this. We had Ben Chase on about a month ago. He convinced me, because my mind wasn't this way, but Ben Chase convinced me this Florida team could do it. What I see right now, I don't see that. Ben Chase knows Florida Gators better than I do. And we'll have Ben back on here in the next couple weeks because we're going to have to talk about this. I don't know what's happening in Tallahassee. I don't know what's happening in Florida. Billy Napier's seat's in fuego. It's on fire. I think he's got one foot out the door. Listen to his press conferences. Go listen to his press conferences. I said it last night on the show. Gainesville, Florida has taken all the fire and passion out of his belly. Billy Napier is tired of being in Gainesville. Listen to his voice when he talks. He doesn't know how to fix it. It's very similar to Norvell right now. They both have deer in headlights. Neither one of these coaches have ever been in this situation. They don't know what to do right now. It's crazy, man. It really, really is. Like it's wild to me. Just what's happening in the state of Florida right now. But I mean, then you look around college football, stuff happening. A lot of wild stuff happening. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk NFL as we close out the show right here on the Sports Buffet on the 4 Star Sports Media Network. Welcome back, folks. Sports Buffet Monday morning, September 16th edition, 2024. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Welcome to the work week. Those of us in retail, we don't have weekends, so every day is a work day for me, kind of, sort of. So I just get 2 random days off a week now. So that's how it is in my life. But let's go ahead and get into it. We talked a little WWE to start. Then we got into some college football. We talked about some culture issues in Tallahassee, Florida, that I don't think changes. And I think that was one of the deciding factors in that game Saturday, is just culture. Memphis has a culture of, we're going to get this done right. Florida State struggled. But let's talk NFL. Some scores from week 2 that really stood out to me. By the way, I want to start by saying, and let me pause this music, but let me start by saying, prayers to Tua Tagovailoa in the Dolphins 31-10 loss to the Bills Thursday night. He got hit, concussed again. What we believe, I guess, now is his third concussion, I guess, in 2 seasons. So shout out to him, man. Prayers to him. Hope he's doing well. Hope his recovery is doing well, and also hope he makes a smart life decision by the time it's all said and done. Because at the end of the day, football is fun, but life is what it's all about. So let's go ahead and look at some scores from this week. We'll start with the Washington Commanders as they went on the road and knocked off the New York Giants 21-18 yesterday. The Pittsburgh Steelers went on the road and knocked off the Denver Broncos 13-6 in a big win for Mike Tomlin and the boys. The Bucs got a big win in Detroit, 20-16 over the Detroit Lions. We saw the Texans knock off the Browns last night, 19-13. And of course, we saw the Titans again just Amber Heard and lose to the Jets 24-17. Will Levis would say after the game, he's got to learn, he's got to wire his body to not want to force plays. And Will, you're right. You've got to force that. Then we would see Dallas Cowboys get smacked around yesterday by the New Orleans Saints, 44-10. As we see Derek Carr finish 11-16, 243 through the air, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Alex Kamara would have 30 carries, 115 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then on the Dallas side of things, Dak Prescott, new contract Dak. Got was 27-39, 293, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Rico Dowdle was a leading rusher for the Cowboys, 7 carries, 30 yards. You think the Cowboys are missing Tony Pollard a little bit right now? I think they are. We see CeeDee Lamb have 4 catches for 90 yards and 1 touchdown. And 65 of those yards would come on a touchdown pass from Dak Prescott in the second quarter to cut the game to 21-13. So really, when you look at the Dallas offense, it was completely inept the entire game. Shout out to the Saints, man. One of the biggest deals, one of the biggest things we like to do, or we do as people in the NFL, is we overreact from week 1 to week 2, right? We see week 1, we see what these teams do, we see how these teams play, and you think, oh man, this Dallas team's going to blow everybody out. This Saints team's going to struggle. For example, the Eagles played over in Brazil, right? The Eagles defense that they play tonight. The Eagles defense is going to struggle, right? Because of how we watched them play last week. But when you look at it, I mean, the Eagles play the Falcons tonight. It's going to be an incredible game on Monday Night Football. But then you look ahead to week 3, and it's very, very interesting. You got Packers heading to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Malik Willis will return to Tennessee as now the starting quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. And I freaking guarantee you when that trade was done, they weren't expecting that. But shout out Malik Willis, man. We got a big win last week as well. Ravens heading to the Cowboys. That's a big game there. Can Cowboys get right? Broncos and Bucks. Very interesting game there. I'd like to see how the Broncos do on the road in Tampa. Then we got the Chargers and Steelers. We saw Harbaugh get another win with the Chargers yesterday, and now they go on the road to take on a Steelers team that's playing pretty well right now, all the way around. But man, the NFL season's here. The college football season's here. WWE is always going. It never stops. Are you needing tickets for any of these events? If you are, we have a way here at 4-Star Sports Media to help you out. Head over to SeatGeek and put in that promo code right there. You put in 4-Star Sports Media. That will save you $20 off of your first ticket purchase of $50 or more. Of $50 or more. By the way, I want to go ahead and shout out Tony Siracusa. Hang on one second. Let me pull this up. Tony just posted an article that says, breaking news, Florida State looking to end the case right now against the ACC. So we'll get with Tony. We'll try to get him on Wednesday. I want to have Tony on Wednesday if I can to talk Florida State versus ACC. Florida State versus ACC. Very, very, very interesting stuff, man. Very interesting stuff. What's going on there? That's really the other thing. What's going on there? What's going on with the lawsuit for Florida State? Wild stuff, man. We'll give it Tony Siracusa on Wednesday. We'll have him back on. And on Wednesday's show, we're going to get more into the week 3 games of not only college football, not only NFL, but we're going to talk a little golf. We're going to talk a little more wrestling. We're going to get into some more conferences. We're going to look and see how the Big 12 did this past week in college football and look at some others. We'll look at the SEC. Got to look at the ACC. We're going to look all around the nation, folks, because that's what we do here at the Sports Buffet. The whole point of the show is to give you guys, our fans, the information that we receive from different conferences, teams, and more. Also on Wednesday, we will be on the SEC football coach teleconference call. We were on last week. We spoke with Sam Pittman. We spoke with Josh Heupel and others. We'll be back on this week to get more information from all the coaches from the SEC, as well as we will have the Sun Belt press call as well, as will be on with the coaches from the Sun Belt and ACC. All that and more this week coming up right here at 4-Star Sports Media. We thank you, everybody, for watching and listening today. For all of us here at 4-Star Sports Media, my name is Wes Pruitt. We appreciate you watching, and as always, stay confident.